Let's go back to our neck of the woods. Reports all over the place this week on the Rangers coaching situation. That they've spoken with Patrick Roy and John Hines. Peter Laviolette is still the front runner. Phil, the Rangers need to hire Peter Laviolette now because they should stop dancing around with him.
He almost screwed it up.
Almost, they backed out.
And then corrected himself and got it right.
Well, this is a layup. We've already kind of basically asked the same question. It's
yeah.
You just wanted to throw a layup in there. You just had to do it. Huh?
Yeah, I do want to throw a layup in there because you know what? Because I want one of us to go on a rant about this, and it was going to end up being me. So I'll end up doing it. So this is a free layup from me because what are you doing? What are you doing, Chris Drury? Seriously, this is still amazing to me that this is even up for debate. You're going, well, you know what, Peter? You're really the best guy for the job, but we got to interview John fucking Hines, who no one gives a rat's ass about. I mean, don't get me wrong. I actually think John Hines is a good coach. It's just not really for this team. Patrick Roy, who hasn't coached a hockey game in the NHL since 2015 or 2016, whichever one it is, and had a falling out with Joe Sakic. We're going to have all that? And you know what? Because I still think it's because the Rangers are sitting there going, hey, Gary, sure we can't have Joel? Sure? You sure? Because we really like him. It's a layup. It should be Laviolette by now. Anybody else? So I'm going round on this. And they want Sullivan too, but I don't know if he's coming. And if I'm the Penguins, I hold on to Sullivan until the Rangers hire a coach, and then I fire him.
well, yeah, that's basically kind of You pulled what we usually do to you, and you did it to us. So you got everything in there. I was looking for you to absolutely blow a gasket and turn more red than one of the tomatoes from Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, but you did it. Just didn't go as red as I thought you were going to go. Yeah, I think David Wood might be right about that. I've been thinking that lately because they talked about this whole the Laviolette, and they like Laviolette, they like the interview, and then it comes out a day later, John Hines, and Chris Drury has been sending smoke signals everywhere, and at this point, now it really wouldn't shock me if they ended up with Quenneville. It really wouldn't. I do agree with you. If I'm Pittsburgh, I am holding on to Sullivan until the Rangers hire a coach, and then I'm letting him go if I'm going to let him go. But I don't think they're going to let him go because I heard that he was involved with the general manager search.
Yeah, no, he's not. Arthur Staple had an article a couple of days ago about the Rangers where the coaching search stands, and he basically said Sullivan's that he's like, it used to be 0.00001 chance. He said now it's just 0. He said it's 0% chance that Sullivan's going anywhere.
I mean, it's sort of like you asked the girl to the prom, but you didn't confirm or book anything with her yet because you're still waiting for somebody else. And yeah.
I mean, what's going on here is, if it's truly down between Laviolette and John Hines, the longer it goes without naming Laviolette the coach, in my opinion, that just points the favor towards John Hines as being the guy. Because you could have hired Laviolette a while ago. You didn't. It's the only other thing at play here, and David Pagnotta was on NHL Network. I saw the video on Twitter. It was either yesterday or the day before. They're talking about the Rangers search. And Mike Rupp asked him about Joel Quenneville, about could the Rangers be waiting for him. And he said that is the other wrinkle. He said, Bowman and Quenneville are having their meeting with Bettman after the Stanley Cup Finals is over. So, I mean, the fact that the jury's waited this long to name a coach, right? The finals could be over as early as what? If Vegas sweeps, you're talking Thursday and then Saturday. So, yeah, the finals could be over as early as Saturday. So, and if not, maybe next, I don't know, Wednesday or so. So if he's waited this long, does he wait another week and see what transpires with that? He could. But I get the sense that John Hines might be the guy. I know Ranger fans aren't going to like it. Hell, I'm not going to like it. But there's no reason why you wouldn't have named Laviolette the coach already. You had so much ample time to do it, and they haven't. So to me, that states they're not enamored with him. They're not. And
I don't think they're enamored with Hines either.
Well, yeah, that's true.
I don't think they are. I honestly, the more and more I think they wait, the more and more I think they're waiting on a word on Quenneville. If they're not all right. So they said a while ago, Larry Brooks put out that article, and it said that they're not interested in Quenneville. They're not in on him. They're not even thinking about him. Okay, so they interviewed Hines when 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, well, last week I think.
Okay, last week. So if they were really that interested in Hines, he was the guy that they think that they're going to hire. Why haven't they named him then yet? You could apply that same exact logic to Laviolette that you could to Hines. Same exact logic.
Phil, as I tweeted this out yesterday, if you mean to tell me the Rangers' 2 head coaching candidates come down to the winningest American coach of all time that's taken 3 different teams to the Stanley Cup Finals, or John Hines. That's all I need to say.
You know what? If this team was in a position where they were either retooling, rebuilding, or they were just trying to get to being a real legitimate playoff team, I wouldn't even be that mad at Hines. I wouldn't love it. But
he'd be perfect.
I wouldn't hate it either. But for a team that's trying to win the Stanley Cup, to hire a guy who's never gotten out of the second round of the playoffs and just hasn't gotten good results for the team, this is some ass backwards line of thought. And that's what also makes me think that they are waiting on Quenneville. Because you're not bringing in Patrick Waugh. Patrick Waugh hasn't come. He hasn't coached since 2015, 2016. His first year, he won the Jack Adams in his first year.
Adams, yeah.
That team regressed heavily those next 2 seasons. Nathan McKinnon regressed heavily. Gabriel Landeskog didn't look great.
Matt Duchene.
They lost Paul Stastny. I understand. Paul Stastny was a real good 60, 70-point two-way player at the time. Still a very effective top 6 player. I get it. Big loss. Yes. But Ryan O'Reilly regressed. He was an established player. Matt Duchene regressed. He was an established player. How could a team that finished that good that 1 year with 52 wins, I think they had that year, and then go to a draft lottery team in 2017? How? I don't understand how they went on that path. And for me, I don't think Patrick Waugh is necessarily the right guy for the team. I saw this comment here. I'm going to address this real quick from Amanda. Patrick Waugh will do something that Laviolette won't do and develop young guys. Well, that's not the case because Laviolette had his hand in the following players. Philip Forsberg, I almost called him Peter. I'm told with Marc. Roman Josi and Victor Arvidsson. I was blanking on the third one for a second.
Well, again, I'll point to you with the days of the Islanders, Phil. Sean Bates, Adrian Aucoin, Kenny Janssen had his best seasons under Laviolette. There's a lot of those guys.
I mean, listen, I get why people are tired of the retreads and the whole, let's get rid of the old boys room mentality. You know what? Push your agendas elsewhere, please, because the problem is not just retreads. The problem has something to do with the players. The players, this leadership group, it's soft. It's soft and it's questioned and it needs to be addressed. And the fact that you can't do that with the current state of the team and the contracts that were handed out by the previous general manager, and this one too, you need a guy like Laviolette to come in and be able to handle those guys. So even if Laviolette's adding her 2 years, okay, so let's just say you bring in a new face. You would have brought in Carberry or Jay Leach or Chris Knobloch.
Okay?
they don't win in the period that they have left with Igor's contract. Let's just say they never win, and they're okay. This is a good question here. How do you fix soft players? You get rid of them. You get rid of them, and you can't do that with this team right now. So,
or sometimes just you get the right coach that just gets through to them,
yeah,
and then that's it.
Remember how soft Mike Modano was viewed as around the league? And then some guy named Ken Hitchcock came along in, I think, either 1996 or 1997. I think it was 97 he first came in. 96, 97 was his first season in Dallas. He turned that team in his third year in Dallas. They ended up winning the Stanley Cup. Mike Modano played like a Conn Smythe winner. Unfortunately, he did not win it. But he played like a Conn Smythe winner and became one of the better two-way players this game's seen in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
So, you can do that with coaching. But how are you going to get that out of Knobloch, Carberry, Leach, all these other guys? I get it. They need chances to show what they can do. But you don't do that with a team that's trying to get to the Stanley Cup Finals and win it all. You do that with a rebuilding team, a retooling team, or a team that's trying to get to that next level.
Well, fortunately, we're gonna move on from there because after just also to say this one more time, Bruce Cassidy is with his second different team in 4 years in the Stanley Cup Finals. There's only one coach that's done it since 2010, and that's Peter Laviolette. And he's done it a third time if you go back 17 years. So there's another one. Let's go to a general manager that's right.
Like and subscribe to our channel. We have a lot of great hockey content and an entertaining interactive podcast. So check us out and our library of videos.
Your ideas are intriguing to me, and I wish to subscribe to your newsletter.